Hello and welcome to a new series in which I'll be discussing sentence structures. This is not only useful for IELTS students but also for those taking GMAT, SAT, any English language exam, even for those who are taking courses in English language literature students. So, this will help you write better English, and even those who are planning to take business English classes, this is beneficial for them as well. So, the purpose today is to discuss this sentence which appeared in the wire.in, an English news website in India. And this sentence, the link to this sentence is given below this YouTube video. Now, this sentence, as you can see, is a long sentence, has a complex structure. So we'll be basically dissecting each element, trying to simplify it, trying to understand how it was built, and if possible, you can also make attempts to write similar sentences. I'll be basically discussing similar sentences in the future. So as you'll go through my videos, you will understand many things which over the course of time will become a part of your writing. So let us come to the sentence. But on Friday, things took an ugly turn when the long march taken out to protest the recent mandatory attendance rule, comma, the removal of various deans and chairpersons, and the sexual harassment charges against Professor Atul Johri, which saw over 1,000 students and teachers walking from the campus to Parliament Street, was met with police charge and water cannons near INA Market. Now, if you go through this sentence again, you will discover that this sentence has two parts. One is the main sentence, another is the modifier in the green portion. Now, what is a main sentence? Main sentence is something that conveys the main idea. So, the main idea is that things took an ugly turn when the long march was met with police charge and water cannons near INA Market. However, after writing this sentence, the author wanted to give some additional information. What exactly was the long march doing? So that brings modifier into picture. So modifiers are those parts of the sentences which give additional information about a noun, here the long march, a subject, and however they do not have an existence of their own. So if you just read between the commas taken out to protest the reason this, you will understand that this portion, the green one, does not have an existence of its own. It cannot stand on its own. So it is dependent on the main sentence. Now, a modifier gives an additional information. So it is basically giving additional information about the word it is put next to. So the comma here basically means that the modifier begins and it marks the beginning or the end of a modifier, as you can see over here as well. And it is always placed next to the word it modifies. So this whole portion gives information about the long march. First thing. Secondly, you can see the presence of parallelism over here. What is parallelism? Parallelism refers to placement of similar structures. Placement of similar structures in various elements of a sentence. So let us go through this. Taken out, the long march, which was, it should have been, taken out to protest, number one. It was taken out to protest, a verb. Number one, the recent mandatory attendance rule. Number two, the removal of various deans and chairpersons. And number three, the sexual harassment charges against somebody. So it has three components, 1, comma, 2, and 3. And this signifies parallelism. Whenever you see and in a sentence, or whenever you need to place and in a sentence, it means that you have to use parallelism. For instance, it's x, comma, y, and z. Even if it is part of the modifier or not, does not matter. Even if it is part of the main sentence, you have to use parallelism. So x, y, and z should have parallel structures. Now, what do you mean by parallelism? The parallel structures usually refer to the first word, the, over here. So these are articles and they should be same in this case. So if it is an adjective, the first word of X is an adjective, the first word of Y should also be adjective, and the first word of Z should also be adjective. If it's an article, this should be an article, and this should be an article. And if this is a noun, this should be a noun and a noun. So there is no compromise on that. You'll notice that recent is an adjective, the second word. Removal is a noun, and sexual is again an adjective. So what this means is the second word does not count. Now imagine a situation when there been no the over here. So taken out to protest a recent mandatory attendance rule, removal of various deans, and sexual harassment charges. This would have been a wrong structure since the first words recent, removal, and sexual do not match. However, by placing the over here, the author has created perfect parallelism. Now, coming to the final element of this sentence, it's the adjective clause. Now, the author was not satisfied by giving just this information. Author wanted to give additional information. So what he did was he created an adjective clause, and it is basically a type of modifier. So this sentence has the structure of main sentence, and within main sentence is a modifier, and within that modifier is another modifier. Let me call it modifier 1 and modifier 2. This is what the sentence structure is, and then the main sentence continues. So to give additional information about these three things taken out to protest 1, 2, and 3, which saw, so what saw? This thing saw over 1,000 students and teachers walking from campus to Parliament Street. Okay, so you'll notice the use of which over here. Which is an adjective pronoun, and an adjective pronoun is one that marks the beginning of an adjective clause. So it basically gives information about the quality of a particular noun or a clause, a complete clause, a complete idea. So over here, what you'll notice is that though the structure is like this, both modifiers refer to, it is in their nature that they refer to the main sentence and the first word before the comma. So here, taken out refers to long march, and which also refers to long march. Though it is modifier within a modifier, both will refer back to long march, and it ends over here, which saw over 1,000 students and teachers walking from the campus to Parliament Street. Then the main sentence continues. Long march was met with police charge and water cannons near INA Market. So this was an over complex sentence. If you're taking an exam, a writing exam, in fact, try writing this structure: a main sentence and a modifier within that. There's no need of writing two modifiers. Try writing just one, and I usually suggest my students not to go for second, since many of you are not aware how to precisely, in a grammatically correct manner, use the second modifier. And this may result in some deduction of bands in IELTS or some marks in PTE and GMAT exams. So try to avoid this and try to write this simpler form of a complex sentence. I hope you liked the video, and just subscribe to the channel. This is the first video of the sentence structuring series, and I'll be posting more similar videos in the future. Thank you for watching.